We're going to talk about the New York train. They were traveling with the Pella Company. Now, the New York train is the family of John Brown. So they're headed west after the Harper's Ferry siege has created a really uncomfortable situation for them. And John, of course, is dead. So his son, Salmon, is leading the family west. And they're kind of in a witness protection situation because there are Confederates and Confederate sympathizers on the trail that heard they're traveling, and they want to take out some Wild West justice on them and make them disappear. So they're hanging out with the Pella Company for safety. And then they also attach to some other companies as well. So at one point, before the attacks, the Pella Company's 8 vehicles, plus another family, and the 3 vehicles belonging to John Brown's widow and daughters and son Salmon are drawn in a picture in the back of Sarah Rousseau's diary. Their vehicles are in a circle corral, just like you see in the movies and the cartoons. So I asked Larry, I said, Larry, can we find this exact spot from this drawing, this obscure drawing? And he said, yeah, I think we can, but we have a problem. We did find it. Where this campsite is on military property. But I think I did a pretty decent job capturing enough footage to show you the discovery of that exact location. So let's go ahead and watch that.
So we're going along what's the closest thing that we can in a vehicle to the trail headed towards Sawmill Canyon. And at this point, the Pella Company, being led by Nicholas Earp, is approaching the family of John Brown that are ahead. And the family of John Brown is going to tuck themselves into a secret hiding place to get extra water and grass. So the Pella Company will actually find John Brown's family and say, oh, those are our friends that we had been in company with. And then they'll camp with them for about 4 days, right up to the beginning of the Platte River Raids.
So maybe they fell off here. Nobody did until the Guard bought this in the 50s. So maybe the Guard knows something that the pioneers do.
So in all of the diary accounts that I've read, Alder Clump is this mass populated place. Like everyone's going there. So it could just be a turnoff that they're like, you know, that's really crowded, but we can go that way down to Sawmill and get some.
Water would be assured, but grazing would not.
Mm-hmm.
So here's where we're turning to go the opposite direction of what rationality would tell you to do.
We're coming down Sawmill Canyon right now. And at this point, maybe the Roe train is getting separated from John Brown's family. Martha Roe writes on July 9th that they traveled till about 2 p.m. and turned out for about an hour and a half to get their lunch. She says dinner. Dinner is lunch and supper is dinner. And the rest went on until they came to the river. So these mountains here are pretty distinct with their ripple features. And we do have this very distinct alluvial fan. Is this where they camped on July 9th and 10th? That's pretty distinct. The other side, maybe. Boy, the wind is going to make this tricky. Maybe it's that.
Sarah had a lot of artistic talent with sewing and music, but not exactly drawing. I just want to point out the slanted foothills line up, the tree line lines up, the striations on the bottom hill. You can see she's drawing those striations near the top of the crest. And then I believe the corral was just on the other side of the tree line. I also want to point out that right in front of the site is a glorious, bright green, surrounded pond with cattle and their babies and migrating birds everywhere. And so it would have been a delicious spot to camp. And she says they were unbothered all night. It was just so beautiful and quiet. Anyway, so there's 12 wagons in that circle. 3 of them belong to the Browns. And I believe that is the only depiction that exists for John Brown's family on the trail, which is pretty cool.